How's it going, everyone? Andy here from 4K Downtime, back at you with another review slash impressions. Before I start, I just want to say a big thank you to every single person who's been watching my Bloodstained Curse of the Moon review, because I've been checking back on the video recently, and aside from seeing some people who's been leaving comments on my videos, I also noticed that it was actually, I think, the second highest viewed video on my channel. So I just want to give a big thank you. It's not much, but at the end of the day, yeah, I just want to show my appreciation to everybody who actually takes their time just to hear out my opinion. And for those of you who actually left me a comment, thank you so much. I do really appreciate the feedback, and hopefully I'm going to make better changes in the future. But anyways, let's jump into the topic at hand today. So I'm sure most of you have noticed, literally yesterday, the Pokemon Company have thrown out a slew of Pokemon news. Now, in this video, I'm going to focus talking about the one that pretty much nobody cared about. So it's Pokemon Quest. Now, don't worry, I am going to make another one where I talk about the other two games that they've announced later on. But I just want to focus on the one that literally nobody cared about. With this one, with Quest, it's like, this is a freemium game. So like, you don't pay anything. You literally just, it's on the eShop right now. You just download it, and right off the bat, you could play it. Now, this is a very strange game, and I do realize a lot of fans have already voiced their, not necessarily concern, but just kind of like, what is this for? Like, who actually asked for this? And there's been a lot of like Pokemon spin-off games like Pokemon Shuffle and that kind of stuff, and I feel like this is just another spin-off game. Much like obviously what my title web's saying, yeah, it's perfectly average, it's perfectly functional, it's nothing exciting, and I'll give you a little quick rundown of what the game actually does. So what it is that the story mode, and I say that with massive air quotes because there is actually no real story to it. You're basically an explorer going to this island, and you're trying to find something. I guess he's an archaeologist or something like that. So you're just here, and once he's landed, he decides to befriend some Pokemon, and you basically get a choice to pick at right from the get-go, like between what Pokemon you really want. And after that, it's basically just a slew of, I guess you could say, automated battles, because you don't really, well, I don't want to say that, because you do battle them, but they run by themselves. So all you have to do is just put in your inputs of what moves to use, and if you think that's too troublesome, you could actually set auto battle, and that will just let them run wild and just use whatever move that they want. So technically, you just simply sit down and watch. Now, graphically speaking, it's very crisp and clean, very simple looking, and the models, they look nice, but like a lot of people have already pointed out, it simply just looks like if you made these Pokemon in Minecraft, that's exactly how they look like. So in this case, that's exactly what they are. But I like the look of the game. I thought the music's pretty cool, and of course, just like traditional Pokemon games, you can level up them, and each time when you beat enemies as well, they drop stones, I believe they're called, and then you equip certain stones that onto certain attributes, and it could increase your health, increase your attack, etc. And once you're at a certain level, you'll also be able to level up. So just like traditional Pokemon, you can raise them and like make them stronger and everything. And that's the one thing that I do like about this game as well, is that just constantly raising your Pokemon stronger is something that's really appealing to me. Now, one thing that is very, very different, the way how you catch Pokemon, because you don't actually catch Pokemon in this version. Instead, you have to make food to attract them. So when you're playing like these wild battles where you just in this top-down view where you're just fighting different wild Pokemons, they each time we defeat something, they drop things. They either drop like power stones, or they drop food and ingredients for you to cook with. And what you do is that then you go back to your base and you take these ingredients, you mix different foods together, and depending on what kind of food you make, it will attract different Pokemon. And that's basically what it is in terms of catching them, because like I said, there's no catching mechanic in here. You're just simply luring them to be part of your team, and as soon as they come, they befriended you, and then you could use them straight away in battle. And just like the Pokemon you start off with, you could level them up, you could train them, you could equip certain attributes to them, which it all sounds nice and dandy. It's just kind of like, it's essentially just a lesser version of, I guess you could say, the G back then when we would play on Game Boy and that kind of stuff. And of course, like so regarding battle wise, that is pretty much what the game has to offer. Like the battle itself, like I said, if you're not into like the whole of constantly just tapping the moves and just let your Pokemon do their stuff, you could just put on auto battle and they just literally fight by themselves, and you don't even need to do anything afterwards. Now here comes the very not necessarily interesting, but it's something that it's to be expected when it comes to freemium games. And of course, it's microtransactions. Much like Pokemon Go, it's exactly the same kind of method here. So the thing with battles here is that you have a battery that recharges over time, and each battery at a full charge, you basically get to do 5 battles. Once you've done all those 5 battles, you have to wait for a time to kind of like, recharge. And each time when the timer recharge here, it's about half an hour each, and each half an hour it recharges only 1 battle. And of course, you might have guessed it, in order to recharge your battery faster, you have to use what they call as tickets, Pokemon tickets. And you get these tickets by either completing certain battles or meeting certain requirements that the game requires you to do. And once you're able to get that fulfilled, you'll be given some tickets. However, your tickets is also what you use to purchase other stuff as well, like purchasing a bigger pack so you can store more Pokemon, or you can store more stone power-ups. All of that requires Pokemon tickets, so of course they do allow you to buy them. They allow you to buy these packs, bonus decorations, and just other cosmetic stuff alongside with of course the tickets as well. And this is something that I find pretty irritating, because I'm actually to a certain extent enjoying what they're throwing here at the moment. Sure, the battles are automatic, but I do I like the idea of just constantly raising my Pokemon stronger. And sometimes the food I make, I am kind of curious what kind of Pokemon I attract. But there's this really big paywall, in between me enjoying it and me just wanting to call it a day and just put it down. Because right now, even as I'm making this video, I'm literally have to wait 26 minutes just for the battery to recharge. And so I can't really do anything or play anything just other than just waiting for it to recharge. So if you're not going to obviously invest any money into it, this is something that it's going to be a bothersome, and I could see this potentially turning off people from playing it altogether and then just wait for the next big thing to come around. And not to mention, the island is split into multiple fractions, so each fraction has about 5 to 6 battles a piece. So technically each time when you finish one part of the island, you just basically have to wait. And that in itself, again, I could see it just turning off people from playing it, because if you're not willing to obviously give into microtransactions, there's literally too long of a waiting time for you to actually keep yourself I'll keep going and just want to see what happens after all. Because like I said, it takes way too long to just charge up for one battle. I've waited for half an hour and I only got one part of my battery charge, and so to wait for the whole thing, you probably have to wait about 2.5 hours, I believe. Of course, as always, can I recommend it to you? Well, it's free, so if you want to, just give it a try. And I didn't hate it. It's perfectly average, it's perfectly functional, everything checks out for what it's trying to do. The auto battle, you don't do anything, but I just like managing my Pokemon and just seeing them grow stronger. But the only thing that it's preventing me from playing it further, it's simply that massive kind of paywall in between, and if you're not unwilling to pay, you just have to wait for far too long. And I have a feeling I probably will stop playing at a certain point. So but anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate it, and you guys who gave me feedback, I really appreciate that as well. So yeah, thank you so much as always. And yes, I will be discussing the rest of the Pokemon news in an upcoming video. But thank you so much for watching this one, and you guys have a great day. Take it easy.